everyone. I did my oral presentation on Sarah Kimball Knight, or Madam Knight. She was a very strong, independent, strong-willed woman of her era. She was born to a somewhat wealthy family of that time era. Her father was a merchant. She was fortunate enough to learn business and get a great education at an early age, which definitely helped her in her future. She married a fisherman who was also wealthy. Unfortunately, he died at sea in London, and she was left widowed. She decided to make this journey that's noted in her journal. It all kind of started when her cousin, Caleb Thornbridge, died, and she decided to make this journey to settle his estates in favor of his widow. The journey is very well noted just because for a woman of this time frame to go on such a rigorous, treacherous journey on horseback in such a long period of time. She was left to ride over rivers, travel through the night, and rely on strangers in order to make this journey. It definitely shows how independent and resourceful she was during that time period. However, you can kind of see her, she was a little narrow-minded in certain aspects and had very strong beliefs against Indians and the those who weren't as wealthy as her and didn't have the nicer things than her. So I'll definitely kind of try to make notes of those certain aspects and also show the positive aspects of her personality. As I kind of said in my introduction, Mrs. Madam Knight definitely kind of shows her racial biases throughout her journal of that time era. There were definitely issues with the Indians during that time frame. She often described them as Indian-like animals when she came across them. She didn't view them as humans. She also was very biased in the fact of wealth and fortune. She felt those that were poor were just kind of ugly and disgusting, and definitely showed that in her writing. It didn't really matter if they were older or younger or children. She was very open and honest on her views of them. She did, however, have a liking for children because it's unique in the fact that when she came back from her journey, she even opened up her own school to teach writing because she enjoyed it so much. She uses a lot of poetry throughout her journals. There are portions of her writing that are hard to kind of understand because there's bits and pieces missing throughout the journal, but it's definitely an easy read to go through the way she formats it day to day. It's almost like you're living through her eyes during that time period. I'd like to also highlight that Madam Knight was also able to meet some prestigious families throughout her journey. She kind of went through some highs and lows and different circumstances. I mean, she'd go from having to take stops in a shack, living with families and eating dinner with families that she definitely thought were below herself, but she also would end up in very prestigious settings and nice houses with fancy dinners with such like Governor Winthrop of Connecticut and Governor Cornbury of New York, and being able to take the chance to sit with those families throughout her journey as well. Overall, I found the journal of Madam Knight to be very interesting and educating of the time era of the 1700s. It definitely highlights a lot on the difference in those cities compared to that time frame to this time frame, and the racial biases going on at those points, and the luxuries that some had that others did not have whatsoever, and how her being a woman at that time era and being able to do what she did was so well respected. Because so many women could not do that at that time frame. Overall, my views of Madam Knight are she was definitely, like I said before, a very independent, strong woman, definitely had strong views. She definitely had some racism towards certain cultures like the Indians. However, I think in that time frame, that's just kind of what they were taught to believe and it's all they knew at that point. So it's kind of hard to just judge her purely off of that. She definitely made some strides for women in the world of writing, and even tried to take that through and teach others how to write the way she wrote. There was a lot we were able to learn through her journal writings, and at the level they were written at. And some of the other writings we've read, I just don't think they were as detailed as her experience were noted to be. If you guys have any questions regarding the reading, please feel free to email me or message me on Blackboard. I would be happy to answer them. This was definitely an interesting project, and I enjoyed it, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Thank you.